you guys are here to train, and you're in my class. And again, one of the things that I do in the classes is I spend pretty much the whole first morning of what we do working on footwork, okay? Because if you can't move, you can't fight. If you can't move, you can't defend yourself. And if you can't move, you can't get the hell out of Dodge, okay? Footwork is the key to being a good fighter. It really is. Every fight almost starts on your feet, unless someone attacks you when you're sitting down or in bed, okay, or in your car or something like that. But most of the time, you're on your feet. It may end up on the ground, but by God, if it goes to the ground, and again, let me say something about ground fighting. Anyone who says, and again, because I've been on all sides with all the different things, I've heard all the stories and all this and that from everybody. Ground fighting isn't necessary. Stand-up fighting isn't necessary. It's only ground fighting. Well, here's what's up. If someone tells you that the only thing that ever happens is ground fighting, you know why they're telling you that? Because they don't know how to fight standing on their feet. And if anybody ever tells you the only thing you'll ever have to know is ground fighting, guess what? They don't know how to fight on their feet. Same thing in reverse. If he tells you the only thing you ever have to know is stand-up fighting, it's because he doesn't know how to fight on the ground. That is a fact. Know that when you train with anyone, because there is no dividing line. It's fighting. Fighting is a total environment. The dynamics are changing every second of every millisecond of an interaction between two human beings. Also, don't go searching around for something that an alien brought down and taught some guy how to do. Okay? We have 2 arms and 2 legs and a head. It's been the same since we first got up off our whatever we were on 4 feet and stood up, and the fighting skills that were learned by those guys are pretty much the same fighting skills we got today. There is nothing new. It's all been done. It's all been tried. So again, be aware of that. If people try to feed you those kind of things, my way or the highway, I know I've got the answers, my system, my so-and-so, we know everything, the answer to everything. That's a real red flag for me. Should be a red flag for you. Not that this guy can't teach you something, but just be aware of that, because he still may be able to teach you how to do a lot of ground fighting or stand-up fighting or whatever his cup of tea might be. But you got to be aware that it's like, okay, gotcha. I need to go and fill in this part of the overall picture because I'm not getting it here. Okay. So again, my goal again is to give you the ability to discern, to look at, kind of make these decisions. But back to the startle reflex. Generally what happens is when you are confronted with a spontaneous attack or a threat that the mind perceives or the amygdala perceives as a threat, there's a bunch of stuff that goes on. And we'll talk about the chemical dump and all that stuff in a moment too. But what happens generally is, boom, someone comes up and they jump out from behind a corner and scare you or whatever. I mean, I've done it where I've walked around a corner and someone's been there and it's like, whoa. That's what I'm talking about. That is the startle reflex, okay? An explosion goes off, startle reflex. Those are the things that we're going to talk about right now. Now, what generally happens in a startle reflex is the knees flex because they're getting ready to move, the stomach tightens up, the shoulders hunch up, and the arms come up just about to eye level because instinctually, well, let me ask you, what is the most vulnerable area in the human body?
Neck.
Right here. Okay? Right behind the neck, in value, not so much death inducing, but is our ability to see. So, for me to survive as a human being for 6.25 million, 7 million years, I have to protect this part of my face and body first. Okay, so the startle reflex was designed, boom, to protect this part of your body. Because I can get my leg cut off and I can live. I can get my head cut off, I'm going to die. Okay, I get my eyes cut out, or my eyes poked out, or blurred or whatever. It's not going to kill me, but who knows what the guy's going to do to me as a result of that, because then he can kill me if I can't see anything. So that's designed to protect our body. Now, and I'm talking about combat, I'm not talking about sports stuff where I'm standing here knowing this guy's coming after me. I'm talking about, boom, you're walking out from the car, bam, someone's there, boom, whatever it happens to be, you're going to have that reflex. Now, there's other things that go on mentally that we'll talk about in a moment too, but that reflex generally is just boom. It's kind of just a little movement like that. Well, when I said about modifying these things to bring them into a combat-oriented situation, what I did, and what I did successfully, and what I've been able to teach successfully, is you can modify that. So what we do after we do the footwork stuff that we do in the beginning of the class is I take you right to the startle reflex. So I force you to create that startle reflex. Not by startling you, but by making you do what happens when you are startled. So boom, you go into that movement, but you make it dramatic and you put power behind it, okay? And at that moment, when we say, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this, because everything's designed to protect you. When my shoulders go up, guess what that does? That protects my neck. When my hands go up, that protects something coming at my face and neck up here, all right? My stomach tightens up so that it's protected against a blow to the stomach, okay? So you take those things and you produce that and you reproduce it and you reproduce it, but you take it a little bit further. You take it a little bit further. So we go to the startle reflex, boom, and I bring them up here into what I consider to be a ready fighting position, okay? The next step is, and again, I'm compressing this a little bit, but you take it up into the compressed position, ready to fight, boom, boom, and you start throwing a punch right out of that position. Because what's going to be so important in your ability to survive a deadly attack or an imminent threat is to be able to do this. No matter what, who you are, Bruce Lee, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, I don't care who the hell you are, if a guy attacks you, he's going to get the first couple shots in, okay? I only want 1 or 2 shots. I don't want 22 shots. Okay? Because if I'm still going like, what in the heck is going on here? He's hit me 25 times, okay? So the key to surviving a deadly attack is to switch that around as quickly as possible. Now, how is that done? I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Let's go back to the startle reflex. So boom, you just practice it. Now, I've gotten to the point where it's caused me some trouble, actually, because I've been in the grocery store and stuff like that, trying to see what the date is on the milk or something, and all of a sudden a hand appears next to me, and boom, I'm like this, and it's a little old lady, and it is, and they're like, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm telling you, you can ask my wife, this happens all the time, because it happened 2 nights ago here in the hotel room. My daughter came into our room, and I was standing there, and I was ready to clobber her, because that is what I've trained myself to do, okay? Because my switch now is amped up, maybe not the full volume when it goes on, but it's maybe at 7 or 8, which is kind of where I really want it to be. Now, that is a fact. It happens all the time with me, but I'm a little bit of an anomaly, because you know what? This is what I do. When I told you I was a fighter, I'm a fighter at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm a fighter at 7 o'clock at night, I'm a fighter at 3 o'clock in the morning. I am not ever not a fighter. That is what I am. That is who I am. That is what I love. That is what I want to do. It is my persona. So again, will you do that? Maybe if you did it as many times as I did, I don't know, because we're getting into the millions probably by this point. But anyway, the startle reflex, you practice it. You get it ready to launch into a fight condition, and then fight out of that platform, okay? Because again, what is, are there any Marines present? Okay. What is the absolute first thing you do when you are ambushed? You return overwhelming firepower in the direction of the ambush. Why? Because you are turning it around, okay? He gets the first few shots in, whether it's fists or bullets, but your key to survival is to turn that situation around as quickly as you can. That's a fact. If you back me into a corner and I cover, you can hit me as hard as you want, wherever you want. Segue for just a moment, since I mentioned the word cover. Again, instinctual reaction, boom, 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 someone attacks you, bam, 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 they start hitting you with punches. A lot of people cover up. Well, that's okay. That's not wrong. That's protecting yourself. What can you do from that cover position? Charge forward. You're still covered, okay? You don't want to cover and get backed into a corner. If he jumps up and starts wailing on me, and I have to take those few shots because I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And I can't get to the point where I'm going to start firing back right away. I'm just going to charge into him in that cover position, because the key, again, and we'll talk about it in just a second, about the rules of combat, is my ability to make him react to me.